All right, guys, welcome back to the Pocket Mads channel. It's Maddie here, and today we have some very exciting news. Mega Shine is the new set coming to Pokemon Pocket, the new themed booster pack. It is set to release on, I believe, let me double check here, I think March 26th, so 1 week from today. The trailer was released this morning. In the trailer, they highlighted a bunch of really new cards, and as you can see, we are getting a new Mega Gengar EX and a new Mega Charizard X EX, Mega Charizard X EX, I don't know. We have Mega Charizard Y, Mega Charizard X is coming. That's the two Mega Pokemon that are going to be sort of the, I guess, the mascots of this new booster pack. And this is going to be a single booster pack. The B2B does refer to this being sort of a mini set, but also they call it a themed booster pack. So this will be a single booster pack coming on March 26th. And yeah, in the trailer, they, of course, highlighted Mega Gengar, Mega Charizard, and a couple of other new cards. But, as always, they have released new cards with basically zero context, so it's going to be very difficult to really analyze a whole lot, but we're going to do our best. If you haven't seen the trailer, definitely go check it out. I don't want to spoil anything or whatever, but the trailer was posted this morning, so I'm not going to really... I don't know. This shouldn't be spoilers. Nothing's leaked. This is officially announced information. Now the elephant in the room here is, of course, shiny Pokemon. That's right. So this is a mini set, a booster pack that's very reminiscent of Shining Revelry that was released probably about a year ago around this time. So Shining Revelry, as we know, was one of the more impactful sets ever to Pokemon Pocket. Not only did we get things like Gold Pokeball and Shiny Charizards and whatnot, but Giratina EX, one of the all-time GOATs, one of the best cards in Pokemon Pocket ever, was kind of ghost dropped in the middle of Shining Revelry, and they didn't really announce it in the trailer. So I think we could be getting a ton of really great cards in the set. Some of the cards that they announced seem really, really cool, but again, we lack a ton of context. So what we're going to do in today's video is break all of these cards down. We're going to talk about them from a competitive standpoint, from a meta viability standpoint. I'm going to share my opinions, my, I guess, interpretations of these cards, but also a little bit of speculation, right? When I say lack of context, we have, of course, the current metagame, and we have some of these new cards that they revealed, but there's probably a lot more coming in the set that is going to pair with some of these new cards or integrate with the new cards. That's typically what happens. So we just don't have the full set list. We don't have the whole context, but I'm going to try my best to analyze and break everything down. Now, if we go down here, there was some other information. We have some upcoming events, the new ranked season bonus week missions, the Slowpoke drop event, the Ghastly Wonder Pick event, Wigglytuff Wonder Pick event, some new accessories. Again, Shiny Mega Gengar, one of the coolest things of all time, one of the coolest Pokemon ever. But anyway, let's dive into these cards and let's talk about them. But before we do that, I do just have to remind you guys to go ahead and register for PMPT number 24, our community tournament. The 24th community tournament here is going to be this weekend on Saturday. Paldean Pinnacle is what it's called. March 21st, Saturday at noontime. This does mean that I think this new set, the 26th, is probably going to be next Thursday. So there's only going to be a couple of days when this new set drops and the PMPT number 25 tournament, which is going to be very exciting. But keep that in mind. Link to register is going to be down in the description below. The last tournament of this season. I really appreciate everybody that comes and competes. It's a really great, it's a great time. A great environment. All right, let's just get into the cards. So again, Mega Charizard X and Mega Gengar EX. These are going to be sort of the poster childs of this set. Two very cool Pokemon. This is definitely, I think Shining Revelry was very big with collectors, but it was also very big for competitive play. It was a very important season. Also, the first season of Ranked actually was, I think, after Shining Revelry, which is pretty significant. But anyway, let's take a look here at Shiny Mega Gengar EX. This card is absolutely insane. Look at this. The Shiny Mega Pokemon is really cool. I don't think we've seen them before, so this is the first time we're getting Shiny Mega Pokemon. Just like Shining Revelry was the first time I think that we got Shiny EX Pokemon. Here we go. Now, Mega Gengar EX is a very interesting card, so let's talk about not just the art, but the actual card itself. Stage 2, 3 prize EX Pokemon, 210 HP, which is a bit low, quite frankly, for a Stage 2 Pokemon. Mega Altaria has 190, it's a Stage 1 Pokemon. Other Stage 2 Megas that are in the game right now that people play, like Charizard and stuff, and Venusaur, they of course have more HP. So this thing is pretty frail. It's weak to fighting, and also the elephant in the room here is that Gengar is a dark type. In yesterday's video, when they had kind of teased Gengar was coming, I was like, do we really need a new psychic type? But a lot of people commented and they were like, well, Mega Gengar, the more new Mega Gengar in the official TCG was dark type. Now that is very weird. I don't really love, I do love that this is a dark type card, but I don't love that Gengar is a dark type card. It's just strange. Like ghost types in Pokemon Pocket are always psychic, and Gengar EX is psychic, so it's a bit strange. We're not going to be able to play Gengar EX with Mega Gengar because it's a psychic type Pokemon. So maybe we get a new Gengar EX, or maybe we get just like, we're definitely getting a new Ghastly and Haunter that will be dark type. But anyway, very strange. I kind of blanked on the possibility of this being a dark type, but I'm glad it is dark. Anyway, sorry. Retreat cost of 1. It's weak to fighting type. It's got 1 single attack, Labyrinth of Shadows. This is a 4 energy attack cost. 3 dark energies and 1 colorless. This is going to be a really big deal. We'll talk about this soon here. But Labyrinth of Shadows does 120 damage, which is, again, just sort of below that damage threshold that we'd like to be in, which is about 140. That is sort of the great breakpoint number right now, where you're 2 at KOing most things, but also 1 at KOing a lot of Pokemon. 140 is a really good number. But 120, it's a little bit low from the damage perspective. However, the effect is crazy. This reads, during your opponent's next turn, they can't play any trainer cards from their hand. So if you don't know, trainer cards is like the overarching description of anything in Pokemon Pocket that is not a Pokemon card. So that includes stadiums, tool cards, item cards, and supporter cards. So if you get Mega Gengar up and running and it starts attacking, your opponent can literally not play any card from their hand unless it's a Pokemon, basically. I'm pretty sure. I don't think there's any other type of card in Pokemon Pocket because we don't have energy cards. This is a very, very powerful effect. I don't think anybody would say otherwise. However, the 4 energy attack cost scares me a little bit. I do just want to mention that there's sort of this unwritten rule in terms of meta viability for stage 2 Pokemon, and this does apply to evolution Pokemon in general, but also just any prize Pokemon, whether it's a single prize, 2 prize, or 3 prize stage 2 Pokemon. Typically, you want that Pokemon to have an attack cost of like 2. That's like the golden attack cost. And mostly that's because of rare candy. So when you see a stage 2 Pokemon, one of the biggest benefits to stage 2 Pokemon is the fact that you can go and evolve them on turn 2 with rare candy, right? Think about things like Greninja, think about, Stoke Charizard, think about Hydreigon. Like there's so many examples of that. Hydreigon has, of course, an attack cost of more than 2, but it has the ability to generate additional energies to itself. So it kind of doesn't fit that bill. Same with Stoke Charizard. But unless the Pokemon or the deck has a way to generate additional energies, you really want the 2 energy attack cost, because the main upside of playing a stage 2 Pokemon is having rare candy. One of the biggest upsides to playing rare candy is that, of course, if you have the energies, you can just attack with that stage 2 Pokemon on turn 2. Again, think Stoke Charizard, think Hydreigon, Greninja, even though that's an ability. That's sort of how most of these stage 2 decks go. So seeing a 4 energy attack cost on Gengar is a little bit scary to me, because this means, really, quite frankly, it means that Gengar is going to need some way to generate additional energies, which I'm sure we're going to get some type of support for getting 4 energies onto Mega Gengar. But even if we do, it's going to be a little complicated, right? And the reason for that is because it just sort of muddies the water for the combo itself, right? If we want to get Mega Gengar out quickly, then you need, Ghastly, you need Mega Gengar, and you need Rare Candy. So that's already like a 2-3 card combo, plus whatever sort of energy acceleration engine we might be getting. Now, that's a lot to ask for, and I don't think that's really the purpose of Mega Gengar. I think that Mega Gengar is likely going to be a late game Pokemon, similar to some other stage 2 Pokemon that we've had recently come to Pokemon Pocket, even Mega Pokemon like Mega Charizard Y, definitely a late game sweeper card. Mega Venusaur is a great example of that. These are cards that, these are Pokemon that are like non-turn 2 viable Pokemon. There's really not too many of them, quite frankly, but there are some, right? Charizard can 1-hit KO, Venusaur can tank hits. And even examples of non-stage 2 Pokemon with high energy attack costs that are late game Pokemon, like Mega Steelix, for example. Gyarados would be another example, although Mega Gyarados never really saw much play. I'm trying to think of anything else in the game that has high energy attack costs that's somewhat relevant. The big ones that stand out to me are, of course, Charizard, Venusaur, and Steelix. Those are Mega Pokemon with 4 energy attack costs. But the reason those cards see somewhat play is because they all have ways to generate additional energy, right? And that's extremely important because sure, it's fine if a Pokemon is supposed to come in late in the game, but again, you kind of need to do something until then, right? Charizard has Charmeleons, and you can use Entei and Flame Patch to actually do something in the first, 3, 4, 5 turns, so that when you do go into Mega Charizard, like you have other cards that have done things throughout the game. Venusaur is sort of a different example of that, and same with Steelix. Those are decks that really just rely on like kind of stalling or taking like 3 or 4 turns and then just winning the game with that one single Pokemon. I don't really think Mega Gengar feels that way to me. Again, 210 HP, so it's getting 2-hit KO'd like pretty easily, and 120 damage, although the effect is really strong, is not going to reliably 2-hit KO other tanky Pokemon, especially anything that plays healing or whatnot. So this Pokemon, Mega Gengar EX, is very strange to me. I think that you could also play this as like a late game sweeper, but again, it's a 4 energy attack cost. So like playing things like Hydreigon with this just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Hydreigon can generate additional energies, and maybe you could play Dawn to move those energies to Gengar, but that's just not a viable combination. And again, in terms of a dark type late game sweeper Pokemon, I think you would almost always rather just play Mega Absol. I just don't really think Gengar fits that bill, quite frankly. We'll have to see. Now, the inclusion of Mega Gengar and the fact that it's a dark type does, in the 4 energy attack cost, quite frankly, does basically confirm to me that we're getting some energy acceleration support for the dark type. Now, that's really scary in a lot of different ways, mostly because we have a bunch of broken dark type Pokemon in the game already. Think Absol, think Hydreigon, think Darkrai. Any general dark type energy support would be very scary because it would also buff all of the other strong dark type Pokemon in the game. And I just don't think Gengar would be something that people would choose to play over some of those other dark type cards. I do just want to touch on this Morpeko card because I know some people are probably going to comment, hey, what about like Morpeko? They did showcase this. Now, this is a dark type Pokemon here. It's a basic 70 HP dark type Pokemon. It's got Energizer Wheel for double dark energies, does 50 damage, and then you move 2 dark energies from this Pokemon to one of your benched Pokemon. Now, it's important to note here that maybe this is coming out and releasing to be played with Mega Gengar, but I think it's sort of a red herring. I don't think this card is viable whatsoever because it's not generating any energies. You're just moving the energies, right? Which can be fine, but this is never a card that's going to be relevant. I just don't think people understand how non-relevant this card is. I really don't think this is a good card because again, if you go first, you have to wait till turn 3 to attack. You only have 70 HP, and once you do attack, you're all out of energies because you moved them to the bench. So I just don't really like Gourgeist is going to go turn 2 going first KO Morpeko. Like, this is not a good card. Now, I don't know. Maybe this is like a combo piece and like a greater archetype that's yet to be fully revealed yet, but I don't think Morpeko is really the answer to Mega Gengar. Again, this is a very strange card. Now, we could be getting Dark Patch. Dark Patch is something that we have like Flame Patch, right? So we could be getting something like that to bring dark energies out of the discard pile, attach them to one of your bench Pokemon, something like that. That's one card that I'm speculating to come here, maybe with Mega Gengar. The other would possibly be an ability or an effect of Haunter. Haunter could have a very interesting effect that generates additional energies. Somehow, things like Ivysaur and Charmeleon, for example. Maybe Haunter is a similar card. I don't really know. Or maybe Haunter just sort of has some side of trainer lock in its own right. I don't know. We really don't know. We're missing a lot of context here. That's my speculation. Maybe a supporter card that works specifically for Mega Gengar. That could be interesting. I also think that might even be the best idea, considering that we don't really want to buff other dark type Pokemon just to kind of get Gengar on par with maybe those other Pokemon. You know what I mean? Think about like how Diantha works kind of specifically with Gardevoir. Maybe we have something similar like that for Mega Gengar. We have no idea. No way of knowing, quite frankly. We're just going to have to wait and see. Mega Gengar, though, is definitely an interesting Pokemon. The thing about these item lock, supporter lock, trainer lock effects, they are decent no matter when you kind of get them out in the game, but these are effects that are much stronger early in the game than they are later in the game, right? Think Chingling. Even though Chingling is only item lock, having a Chingling come out and item lock from turn 1 on is much more valuable than like having a Pokemon come out and item lock on like turn 4, right? You want to stop your opponent from getting those early rare candies, those early Pokeballs, early supporter cards in the sense of Mega Gengar. So if there was a way to get this thing up and running by turn 2, which I highly doubt, it would be very strong just because it locks all trainer cards, and that is its own win condition. Again, maybe viable as a late game sweeper, just to kind of stop your opponent from ever being able to Cyrus. That's something to keep our eye on for sure. But again, I think Mega Absol just sort of already does that maybe a little bit better and has only a 2 energy attack cost. So I don't know. It's a very weird Pokemon. I have no idea what they're planning for Mega Gengar. Because it's a stage 2 Pokemon, the deck sort of needs to be like focused around Mega Gengar, and I just don't know if we're going to have the tools available to make this happen. I guess. We have Dark Pennant. I don't know. I'm trying to think. There's not a real world in the current metagame right now with the cards we have available that I think Mega Gengar would see competitive play. That's all I'm saying right now. So we'll have to wait and see what they release with Mega Gengar. Let's talk about Mega Charizard, though. This is a much more like straightforward Pokemon. We have a ton of fire support in the game right now. We have other fire type decks. Mega Charizard X has, again, 220 HP. That's about a normal amount, I would say, for a stage 2 Mega Pokemon. Retreat cost of 2, weak to water. It's got 1 attack, yet again, Raging Blaze. 3 fire energies, does 100 damage. And if this Pokemon's remaining HP is 110 or less, so if it has half HP or less, the attack does 180. Now that's a much better number. I actually really like this Pokemon in the sense that, you can play this in a lot of different ways. Like you can come in, attack for 100, tank a hit from basically anything other than the other Mega Charizard, and then finish up a KO, right? So 100 plus 180 means that there's really nothing in the game that is going to survive 2 attacks from Mega Charizard. And you can play Lily with this. You can play Flame Patch. This, to me, is probably going to be a more relevant Charizard than the other Charizard, which is interesting to say because the Mega Charizard Y actually does just beat this Charizard out like plain, right? So it's interesting because all of these Mega Pokemon that we talk about, straight up do just lose to Mega Charizard Y. That's just the reality of Mega Charizard Y. But as we know, the metagame right now isn't really dominated by Mega Pokemon other than Mega Altaria. And if Mega Pokemon are, sort of the focal point of the competitive metagame, then Mega Charizard Y will just dominate because it just one-hit KOs Mega Pokemon. And this Charizard card feels to me like a better overall Charizard than the Mega Charizard Y. It's much easier to get set up, which is really nice. But also keep in mind that it's not as good. This is the Charizard that beats the non-Mega decks. And then there's a Mega Charizard Y, which beats the other Mega decks. You know what I mean? That's the whole concept here. I really like this. Again, we have Flame Patch, you have Entei, we have Charmeleon still. So all of the support that we have for the fire type and for Mega Charizard Y, you can just port over to Mega Charizard X. I really do like it. It does annoy me that he's weak to water, although it is a fire type Pokemon. It's also a dragon type, so it should be neutral to water, but it's whatever. Obviously not weak to ice, so there's no fairy type in the game, so I guess it makes sense. But yeah, really, really cool. Let's take a look, though, at the shiny Charizard. This is an extremely cool Pokemon. This is going to be why people open the packs, right? And it's smart for them to do this, right? You get Mega Charizard X, you have Mega Gengar, 2 of people's favorite Mega Pokemon, and they have shiny cards, right? These are going to be very, very popular, cards to try to open in packs, right? Hopefully, it's a single booster pack. Hopefully it's easy to open these cards. A single booster pack, though, does mean that we're not going to be getting a ton of cards in the pack, but if you remember, Shining Revelry had a absurd amount of EX cards in the set for being a mini set, right? If you go back and you look at Shining Revelry, it really was sort of an anomaly amongst other mini sets. But anyway, that's how I feel about Mega Charizard X and Mega Gengar EX. I just don't really... I don't know. It's hard to tell. Charizard is much easier to sort of put a pin in. I think this could be extremely viable and just really good, similar to when Stokesard came out in Shining Revelry. Gengar, though, I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. No idea about what's going to go on with Mega Gengar. 4 energies is crazy. No dark energy generation, I don't think. Do we? I don't think we do, because people would play it. But yeah. We're getting a shiny... They've revealed a couple of other shiny cards, which tells me that we're likely going to be getting their evolutions to some degree. So Shiny Pineco with Hang Down, 10 damage, means we probably are getting a Fortress. Well, we're definitely going to be getting a Fortress. Don't know if that's an EX card or not, but there you go. Also, let's talk about this Dragonair, because this card is a really big deal. New Dragonair. This one's shiny. I'm sure a non-shiny version will be released. This is a Dragon type, 80 HP Stage 1 Pokemon. As we know, evolves into Dragonite or Dragonite EX. And it's got a really interesting attack here. So for one colorless energy, neither no damage for the attack. Sky's Blessing. Take a water and a lightning energy from your energy zone and attach it to this Pokemon. This is an incredible effect for Dragonite specifically, for any Dragonite deck. Basically, Dragonite right now plays dual energy. The attack costs for all of the Dragonite cards are water and lightning. And the biggest downside to Dragonite is not only needing to get 3 or 4 energies onto those Pokemon, but also getting at least 1 or 2 of the other, of both types of energy, right? It's kind of the main reason why Dragonite just doesn't see a lot of play. Dragonair fixes both of those issues. You go from immediately 1 energy on turn, like you could go turn 2 going first, Sky's Blessing, and then go into turn 3 with, of course, 3 energies of at least 1 of each, and then you just attach the 4th. So this makes all of the Dragonite decks very, very good on turn 3. Like, this is a drastic improvement to Dragonite in terms of it being like a turn 3 deck, which is a very, very big deal. Now, it only has 80 HP, which is a bit scary, but you're not weak to anything. I really like this Dragonair card, and it's going to make Dragonite feel a lot better. Now, Dragonite EX does 180, which is, again, a very awkward amount of damage with Mega Pokemon in the game, but we do have, like, the Fossil, big balloon, like, big air balloon, double pivot combinations, and so we have Lyra still. So I'm actually really excited. This probably, though, does mean we might be getting a new Dragonite card, and we don't know if that could be Mega Dragonite. We need to understand we might get Mega Dragonite EX or something like that, right? Which would be super cool. It would be very, very cool. It'd be the first like new Mega Pokemon coming to Pokemon Pocket, but that's speculation. This Dragonair card is really, really good for all things Dragonite. Hopefully we get Mega Dragonite. That would be really cool. We're getting a shiny Zorua, which means we're getting Zoroark to some degree. I think, do we already have one in the game? We might. This is shiny, 60 HP, surprise attack 40, flip a coin if tails. This attack does nothing. I don't remember if we have a Zoroark in the game already, do we? Zoroark? We do. Okay, we do have a Zoroark in the game. What does this thing do? If your opponent's Pokemon is knocked out by damage, oh yeah, from this attacks during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage and effects of attacks done to this Pokemon. It's really not even a bad card. But anyway, we're getting a shiny Zorua and also a shiny Ponyta. We do have Rapidash EX, I believe. So there you go. Maybe we're getting shiny Rapidashes. I don't know. Who knows? I have no idea. But these are the cards, the shiny Pokemon that they highlighted. So we're going to be getting a Fortress, probably a Dragonite, Zoroark, and Rapidash cards, you would think. So there you go. Pretty cool. Next up is Phione. Is this a reprint? Aqua Turbo, 10 damage, 1 water energy. Take a water energy from your energy zone and attach it to one of your benched Pokemon. So this is like just kind of a worse Mantike, though. I don't know why you would really ever play this over Mantike. You have to attach an energy to generate an energy, where Mantike, you don't have to do that, which means you can't use this attack on your first turn. It does have 70 HP instead of 30. I guess you could play double Mantike and double Phione and just have like really consistent energy acceleration leadoff Pokemon, which is pretty cool for water type decks. But we also have Manaphy, which it's 2 energies. So I don't know. Is this a reprint? Phione. No, it's not. We have this Water Pulse Phione. So Manaphy is double energy though. Oceanic Gift Manaphy, which is 1, it doesn't do any damage, but it's double the energy, but it's a 50 HP Pokemon, but that does mean it's Licia searchable. I don't know. It's a bit strange to me. I don't know why anyone would choose to play this Phione card. The 10 damage might be relevant, but I think you'd much rather just play Manaphy or Mantike. This is like the in-between of the two, but like the version that I just don't think you would really ever choose to play. I guess you could play all 3 in a deck and just sort of guarantee that somehow we're going to be generating additional energies. But yeah, I guess we're getting this Phione card. Why not? And we have a new Empoleon. Now, I believe this is new artwork, and I could be wrong about that. But I think this is unique artwork. If I'm wrong, somebody just correct me if this is like in the official TCG or something, but let me know. This Empoleon here is a stage 2 non-EX Pokemon water type, 130 HP, double water and a colorless energy, Emperor's Strike, 80 damage, plus if your opponent's active Pokemon has more remaining HP than this Pokemon, this attack does 60 more damage. This isn't, I don't think, a relevant card, quite frankly, but the art is really cool. Maybe we're getting an Empoleon EX. I have no idea. New Slowpoke. This is not a shiny Slowpoke, but Potentially meaning we could be getting a Mega Slowbro. There is Mega Slowbro, and we love Mega Slowbro, one of my favorite Megas of all time. So maybe we get that as well. Who knows? Here's more Pekko. So we could be getting more Pekko and a Scyther as well. So we're getting a new Scyther card. Maybe we're getting a Scizor card. Maybe Mega Scizor, right? So, you know, it's all speculation, but like the cards that they showcased here do kind of lead us to maybe making some speculations, I suppose, right? So Slowpoke, maybe Mega Slowbro, Scizor or Scyther, maybe Mega Scizor, you know, Dragonair, maybe Mega Dragonite, probably not though. So there's a reason why they showcase these cards, right? For us to sort of make that speculation. Of course, we just took a look at more Pekko. This Scyther here does 10 damage and swaps with one of your bench Pokemon. This is not even that bad. It's also colorless, which means it's definitely meant to be probably paired in like a metal type deck with like Scizor. You know what I mean? Yeah. Pretty cool. I like it. I like it. So we'll wait and see. Again, like they gave us very little. Like this trailer was literally like, here's Charizard and Gengar, like out of context. You know, get excited, I guess. Who knows? You'll see. I'm sure this entire set will be leaked in like 3 days, but we'll have to wait and see. Whenever we do get that information, I'll talk about it here on the channel. All kind of speculation at this point. They did showcase one trainer card, which is Calem. So there is a new trainer card coming. You can't really read this, but it does say this right here. Oh no, it doesn't even. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this says draw a card for each Mega Evolution Pokemon EX, both yours and your opponent's. So they don't have the translation on here, but this is actually a pretty interesting card. So if you just have a bunch of Mega Pokemon in play, or your opponent also does, you get to potentially draw a lot of cards. Something like this is crazy in some ways. Because like you, especially in the mid to late game, you could easily just draw like 3 or 4 cards with Calem. So this is kind of a crazy card. Again, I don't know if there's a lot of decks that are going to play like a ton of Mega Pokemon. Like I'm trying to think of decks that have, you know, like more than 1 Mega on the board at any given time. Not many, like, to be fair. I think Altaria sometimes has like 2. Kangaskhan is usually a 1 of. Absol's usually a 1 of. Like even Venusaur, like there's typically only 1. Like Charizard, there's typically only 1. Gardevoir, like there's really not many decks that are playing like a bunch of Mega Pokemon. Maybe that changes. Like maybe Calem itself does maybe open up the opportunity for like just crazy decks playing multiple Mega Pokemon. Now, in the early game, this card is not going to be useful, mostly because most Mega Pokemon that see player evolution Pokemon, but maybe, you know, maybe basic Mega decks can utilize Calem. This is an interesting supporter card. Definitely buffing Mega decks, which is always good because I just don't think there's enough of them in the metagame. But I don't really have much else to say here about Calem. Given the current state of the metagame, this is not something that I would really suspect to be that viable, especially since you only have 20 cards in your deck. But maybe if other decks come out, or if Mega decks are just sort of the only decks that people are playing, maybe Calem is going to be relevant, right? It's hard to tell. Right now, this is not something I would really consider playing, but we don't know how the metagame's going to change, right? Maybe everyone's going to be playing Megas next season. We'll have to wait and see. A new Haxorus is crazy. Also, Dragon type Stage 2 non-EX 150. Frenzied Blade for a fighting and a steel energy and a colorless. Does 50 damage. This attack does 20 more damage for each benched Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's. Of course, at the most, there can be 6 total bench Pokemon, which means this attack does 170 damage if both players have a full bench. Pretty cool. So this effect of this attack is basically the same as Suicune's to a degree. But again, fighting metal and a colorless is going to be really tough on a stage 2 Pokemon. I don't know how we're going to do this. It's almost like they made Haxorus like as worse as they possibly could. There is some metal type generation, so I mean, it's not even that bad. You would just play, well, it's not great, is it? Because the fighting type part is what's difficult. You know, there's plenty of metal Pokemon that generate metal energies, but they all require metal energies to use that effect, like Orthworm, like Dialga, like Probopass. So you'd have to play dual energies, which makes that front Pokemon less consistent. Maybe you just play, I don't know. I have no idea. This doesn't seem like something, not unlike any other Dragon Pokemon that they released a Pokemon Pocket. This doesn't seem that competitively relevant to me. But I could be wrong. You know, there's maybe a chance. Like, it's a lot of damage. Like, this thing can hit hard. Like, imagine having to kind of swap in here, and then Haxorus is hitting for like 150, 170. Like, that's a bit crazy. That's a lot of damage, you know? So this thing's a little scary. But other than that, I don't know how I feel about Haxorus. You know, it's definitely one of those weird ones. Here's the Slowpoke. So because Slowpoke is a promo, I almost feel like Slowbro to some degree, or Mega Slowbro, maybe is somewhat likely, you know? Of course, we have Slow King, but I don't, there's no Mega Slow King, right? Is there? No, I don't think there is. So yeah, we'll see. My guesses here early on, and here's Ghastly, another promo. This does Mumble, it does 20 damage. So this is the new Ghastly, the new Dark type Ghastly. We don't know what the new Haunter is. Hopefully Haunter does something so that Gengar can maybe be a little bit more viable. But yeah, the promos that have been leaked here are Slowpoke and Ghastly, which means that we're likely maybe getting Mega Slowbro. I guess it would be my guess, just right off the bat. Mega Dragonite seems a little bit less likely. Maybe a Fortress EX. You know, I don't know. We already have Rapidash. Maybe Zoroark EX. Maybe Zoroark EX or the new Zoroark card is the new sort of secret, you know, pairing for Mega Gengar. You know what I mean? Maybe that's the case. Maybe like you can build a crazy Zoroark Mega Gengar deck of all shiny Pokemon and it's broken. I don't know. Are we getting Dark Patch? Who knows? I have no idea. But anyway, that's Mega Shine. That's everything that we've seen so far in the trailer. Again, they really didn't show much, unfortunately. But you know, they like to do that. Yo, Sprigatito. They like to do that, you know? What are the comments saying here? Worst set yet? That's always the question. That is always what people say, and I absolutely love that. Super funny. Oh, yeah, look at it. So this guy, Mega Scizor, question mark, Mega Slowbro, question mark, Mega Dragonite, question mark. If we are getting new Megas other than Charizard and Gengar, that would be my guess. Slowbro seems most likely. But yeah, pretty cool. Mega Scizor as well. I would not be surprised with the Mega Scizor, which would be interesting. Really curious to see. Again, guys, don't make any you know, judgments about this set before you see the entire set. People thought the same thing about Paldean Wonders, and that was filled with really strong cards that changed the metagame. And if you think back to Shining Revelry, which I think this set is very comparable to, when Shining Revelry got announced, it was like, I don't know, maybe not. And then they shadow dropped Giratina EX in the set, and that became the GOAT of all time in Pokemon Pocket. So, I mean, who knows? Who really knows? I think Mega Charizard can come in like day one and do some work. Gengar, I have no idea what's going on with Mega Gengar. I'm a little bit afraid if this thing is competitively viable, but we'll have to see. Dragonair is really exciting, and yeah, hopefully we get a Mega Scizor, Mega Slowbro would be pretty cool for me. I don't think Morpeko is going to be useful. Calem as well, interesting, but well, the meta would have to change a lot for Calem to be, you know, that relevant. But there you go, guys. That's all of the cards. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts? What are your opinions? What are your hopes? What are your dreams for Mega Shine B2B? Back to back is what B2B stands for. Yeah. Well, that's it. That's the video, guys. Let's get out of here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to register for PMPT number 24. And stay tuned for not only my Best X video tomorrow to finish up the ranked season, but also the tournament live stream this weekend, and then also the metagame coverage next week on Monday, leading up to possibly leaks and more information about this booster pack. Going to be really exciting next week here, for the next couple of weeks, quite frankly, which is always pretty fun. I love that Pokemon Pocket releases new packs like every month. At least that's what they should be doing, because it makes the game fun, it keeps things exciting, and I love it when new cards come out. It's like what I live for here on the Pocket Mads channel. Let's wrap this up, guys. Peace out. Have a good one. We'll see you guys later. And yeah. Bye.